probably a lot more numbers there in terms of when you look at Arsenal. You know, unfortunately for them, Saka, we don't know how long he'll be out. But you think if Liverpool did lose Mo Salah, for instance, and they did for a time last season, they've probably got more options there to come off the bench and make a difference. I mean, there's no doubt Chelsea have got those options if you're comparing them. They're in the title race, of course, at this moment. But that is a worry if you're coming up against Liverpool. There's goals there.
It's an extraordinary record of form. If you go back 65 games, we mentioned this at the top, so we're going back to Klopp's penultimate season, that they finished unbeaten the last 10 games of that season, then lost only 4 games in his final season, and they get to this stage of the season with only 1 defeat this time. So that's 5 defeats in 65 games. The next best are Arsenal and Man City, who both lost 10 games across that period. And these are the players that have started the most games of those 65. And there's something that ties the top 3 on that list, certainly. Virgil van Dijk, Mo Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold, as we know, all 3 whose contracts expire at the end of this season. And we have 9-10 days away, the possibility of any of those 3 players opening negotiations with a foreign club. You're shaking your head, Les.
Yeah, no, because you know, we're talking about how brilliant Liverpool were going.
Join us today on Telegram for free and enjoy the Premier League. Don't miss out. Link in description below.
Forward, and I'm looking at Van Dijk and I'm thinking it's just a Rolls Royce. You know, him and Gomez today were absolutely exceptional. Never really looked like under too much pressure in the 90 minutes, apart from the ball that goes over Virgil's head for Solanke's goal. Never put a foot wrong.
They haven't got to clean his kit, have they?
That's true. But is that one thing that could potentially derail their season if that becomes a problem?
What, the contract?
Those 3 players that have played more than anyone else across that period.
No, not really, because, you know, I say Virgil's always he doesn't look ever flustered or tired. He's in magnificent form. He never has to get out of second gear at times. So, I think if you look at what Trent does with the opportunities that he gets, you know, I mean, you'd want Conor Bradley to come again, so just at times you can maybe play, because Conor plays at such a high level as well. And Salah's goals and assists, and if he's not on the pitch, you can see he gets angry. He wants to play as many games as he can, but they manage it so well with the sports science department now. They can make sure they get the correct minutes, and nothing seems to be affecting them. The contract talk doesn't seem to affect how they play. Sometimes when players are out of contract in the summer, it can affect them and maybe they don't put in the performances. The 3 of them are playing at such a high level.
You wrote this week in your column, Jamie, I noticed, about Trent Alexander-Arnold. You were quite strong in the fact that of why he should sign a new deal. Tell us.
I think it's more than a football decision in terms of whether it's money or trophies or your career. I think it's more about his legacy at Liverpool and how he's seen in the future. And I think I made the point a little bit, does he want to be seen as almost the way Steven Gerrard's seen? Or maybe Steve McManaman. Now, 2 great players for Liverpool. And I actually feel a little bit for Steve McManaman. He's a friend of mine. He was one of the best players or attacking midfield players in the Premier League in the mid-90s for Liverpool. He went to Real Madrid and won a couple of European Cups, but he's not absolutely adored by Liverpool supporters now, really. And I feel a little bit sad for that, really, because he probably deserves to be, but...
I bet he's not that sad. He's won 2 Champions Leagues there, I think.
Yeah, but, no problem then. But what I'm saying is, as a local player, I just think that feeling, it's a long time living back in the city and how you feel about your club. And Trent's been at Liverpool since he was 6 years of age, so he's been at the club 20 years. I don't think it'd be nice to almost, Liverpool supporters, whether you agree with it or not, to almost have a feeling of, oh, hang on, we're winning, we're going for the league, we're going for the Champions League, leaving on a free. What more do you want? Everything's here for you. So
I don't see it that way. I think that's...
Don't you see? I can guarantee you Liverpool supporters will think that. Now, whether
that's fine, but I don't think that should be the case, because I think it's not... Well, a couple of things in it. I think it's negligence from Liverpool that they've got them in this position. You shouldn't have 3 players of that quality to get to less than a year of a contract. So if you're going to do that, then... you have to respect that he's going to have a decision to make. And if he's a young player that's given everything to the club, he's won the Champions League, he's won the Premier League, he's won every single trophy. If he wanted to go and try a different culture, do something different, go and play... If he wants to go to Man City or Man United, of course, that would, for me, you can't do that. Liverpool's my club, I was there 11 years. But if I was in that dressing room, I would turn around to him and go, I'd love you to sign, but you know what, good luck. If there's a chance to go to Real Madrid, how do you turn that down? And I think because he's a local lad, they shouldn't be put under that pressure. I think sensible Liverpool fans would say, you know what, you've given everything to this club. And in that period, they could have he saved them a fortune. Because they'd have had to buy 2 or 3 right-backs. Look what's happened to Manchester City. They've not had to buy a right-back in that time, and they've had Trent playing at such a high level, won everything. I don't see... If he wanted to go, he would... For me, he should go with everybody's blessing, because he's been unbelievable for that football club.
And my point being, he won't go with everyone's blessing. Now, whether you agree with the supporters or not, when you're a local player... Now, if Salah or Van Dijk went for free, they'd actually be saying, oh, brilliant, you've been great for the club. And they actually cost the club money. Trent didn't cost the club money. He's only going to be leaving for what he cost, which was nothing. But I go back to it again. Whether you're Steven Gerrard, Steve McManaman, Michael Owen, in those situations, there's different things that are expected of you as a local player. Now, you may think that's harsh and he's just another player in the dressing room. But as a local player, and I've been there as a local player, and I would never have had a move like that on the cards. But I think to leave Liverpool is difficult as a local player. Now, when I finished playing for Liverpool, I retired a year earlier than if I'd have played for another club, because it was Liverpool, because I didn't want to play and the fans be going, oh my God, he's playing, get him out the team. So I wanted to leave in the right way. So they remembered me in a certain way. Now, if Trent Alexander-Arnold doesn't care about that, fine, no problem. But I think he will, if he stays at the club, remembered as one of the greatest players to ever play for the football club, and not far behind Steven Gerrard. If he doesn't, he won't be remembered like that. Now, if he doesn't care about that, that is fine. Yeah. But I'm only telling you what Liverpool supporters will think.
But you get one career to get that opportunity.
The club he's with at the moment, though, are the best in the Premier League and the best in the Champions League.
But you can try to... How can you say, you've got to stay in one job?
I'm not saying
to get that opportunity.
I think where you're coming from, and when you're saying that, is if he leaves for nothing.
Yeah, 100%.
That's where it is. If a young player comes through the system...
How much money has he saved them in that period?
I know what you're saying, but what Liverpool also look at, we've put him on the map. We've given him this opportunity to do what he's done. And I get where you're coming from in terms of he's going to leave that football club for no money. And if you was to sell him now, what sort of money would you sell him for if someone was to come and pay for him?
That's not
his fault.
I know.
It's not his fault, but I'm understanding what you're saying. Why
so that is the frustration. That was a little bit of the thing.
Will be frustrated, but I don't agree that.
So he shouldn't go if that's sign a contract, sign a contract and then leave.
If I was advising Trent, I would say in terms of, it's not just leaving. I think people understand it about the Real Madrid, and Les makes a great point, and I should have made that, as I did in the column, that a lot of it is the free transfer. That's a lot of it, and it was probably a little bit with McManaman, but people didn't really understand the Bosman thing really too much then. But it's that feeling that you're leaving us for nothing. Where's our money to replace you? Now, you might not agree with that, but it's just a fact. I would say sign a contract, have a decent buyout clause in there, that's not ridiculous, and if Real Madrid wanted to buy you maybe in 12 months' time, 2 years' time,
Jamie, Les made the point that he has been given the opportunity. Should he not feel like he owes Liverpool something? Sign a new contract with a sensible buyout clause.
And he saved them a fortune.
I'm not saying that.
By the way, we're talking, this is why but I'm talking purely just as a football person would have been I would have gone to you, you've got in this position, Liverpool should have got the contract sorted out. Well, you can't turn around and say, sign a contract. So if he gets injured, so he signs a year contract and he gets injured, then what happens? He's got an opportunity to go and get a 5-year contract or whatever at Real Madrid and try something different in his life. I've got total respect for whatever he wants to do because he's given everything to Liverpool. And my big point is, people say, well, they put him on the map. He saved them fortunes by having to buy right backs of his quality.
It doesn't matter what we say. We can debate it or whatever.
I think you're being a bit unfair to him, though.
I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm just saying I can understand what Jamie's saying in terms of the supporters.
I know the Liverpool supporters. Every day you're with them. Now, listen, I'm on the streets of Liverpool and I know how they feel about it. Now, it doesn't matter whether we agree with that or not. I think if you've been at a football club since 6 years of age, you've been there for 20 years, when you're 40, 50, you want the club to, you still want to be one of those legends. People,
He'll still be a legend, though,
I know, but there'll be a feeling
if
there.
If he goes to Man United, of course he wouldn't. But that's why he'll be a legend.
Michael Owen. Listen, the Michael Owen thing.
But I don't think it's unfair to even bring up Steve McManaman won 2 Champions League finals. Macca's incredible. What is like? If you ask Steve McManaman...
Something else you said there about negligence from the Liverpool board because 3 players have got to this stage.
Yeah,
You've been a director of football. I know you're going to return to that career very soon, Les.
I hope so.
Hopefully. Do you think that's negligence?
Yeah, I think if you've got players that you want to tie up, then you've got to, you now don't leave it to the last year of their contract. That's why people get tied up, 2 years in advance. 18 months is the most you leave it before you try and tie somebody up. If that player's adamant that he doesn't want to sign a contract, don't matter what you're offering him, he's not going to sign that contract. And his idea is going to leave on a free transfer. There's not a lot you can do about that unless you try to sell him early. Now, like I said, I'm not saying he shouldn't leave Liverpool. I'm saying that I can understand the reasonings why the Liverpool fans will say, look, you know what, we've given this boy a platform and now he's gone and we're not getting no money for him. Now we've got, especially with the way things are nowadays with PSR and the financial fair play, if they ain't got money coming in for him, how do you replace him?
The interesting thing is, and I'm not just defending Liverpool on this, the structure of the club had moved away because Jurgen Klopp had that much control, and then as soon as Jurgen Klopp announced he was moving on, so I think that was probably about October, November last season. So Trent's got over 18 months to go. There's no way in the world Trent is going to sign a contract if he doesn't know who the manager is. Now, there was all that thing, who's the manager, whether it's going to be Alonso or different people. Now, I'm not having a go with them because every agent would have done exactly the same. But they were in a position where they could say, no, we're not ready to sign. We don't, no, we're not ready. We need to know who the new manager is. And then when the new manager comes in, it's a bit, are we going to be successful? I've got a lot of options out there. Now, the thing is, Liverpool have proven at this early stage to be looking like they could be really successful in terms of, top of the Premier League and got the Champions League. So Trent's advisors could use the situation that Liverpool found themselves in as a football club to, take advantage of his position.
Yeah, can I just say one more thing? Because just that, there's every chance he could stay as well. He might stay, and if he does, but I'm just saying, but we shouldn't say that you shouldn't do this or you should. It's his life. It's his if he wants to go and play, he's good friends with Jude Bellingham. Going to Real Madrid, I think there's the only club in the world where I could totally get. My God, that's the biggest pull.
Let me put you in Liverpool's position now. You've got the money for one of those three.
Only one? I'd go with Virgil.
He gets the contract,
he gets
despite his age?
Yeah, because he's just imperious and he's playing at such a high level. I wouldn't want to lose any of them. But if you just said if one of them was to sign, because I think Liverpool have always had an ability. When I was there throughout the years where Rush goes and then Fowler comes along and then Owen comes along and then Torres comes along and then Suarez comes along and then Salah. They just seem to turn strikers into superstars. So they will find some, but I just don't know in world football where you could find someone just to replace Virgil. I hope. Listen, I want them all to stay. I do, but I just don't.
I'm sure Liverpool fans do as well.
I do. I really do. Because
there might not be the money there.
Great for our league,
talking about PSR.
I've also got a lot of respect for someone if they want to go and try a different culture. I think good luck.
Who's your one, Jamie?
I'd probably say Van Dijk, but I'm pretty much certain Van Dijk and Salah will stay. The one worry is Trent because of the situation he finds himself in, but I'm certain the other two will sign.
Yeah, no, that's why I was shaking my head when you did the list and I saw Virgil at the top of it, and I mentioned his name straight away. For me, the way he bosses that Liverpool back line and the way he's just so calm, he would be the one that I would be desperate to keep.
I'm sure every other team in the Premier League would love to have him as well, that is for sure, including Spurs. And we can hear now from the Tottenham dressing room. Heung-Min Son is with Patrick Davison.
Well, something really tough to lose at home like that. What did you make of the Spurs performance?
Yeah, very disappointed, obviously, the results, and you consider 6 goals at home is not that idea, so yeah, it's really, really painful.
Obviously, you played on Thursday night, pretty much the same team, you've got a lot of injuries at the moment. We had the manager in here a minute or so ago. Did you feel like energy, running out of it was a big factor today?
Yeah, what can I say? There's, as a footballer, you always want to play. So, but that's what at the moment we got. So, yeah, we gotta just work hard and just recover as many as possible. So, but yeah, I don't want to make any excuses. So we were ready. So we were just running and we were just trying to be as sharp as possible. So yeah.
How good a team are they?
Pardon?
How good a team are Liverpool?
Look, there's no question, the top of the league. You can see quality players and top discipline, and I mean, there's a reason they're top of the league. So yeah, quality players, and if you give any mistake, they punish you. So yeah, very, very good side.
Do you feel like sometimes as well, with the way you play, how brave you are, the risks you take, every now and again, particularly with some injuries against top sides, there's a risk of something like that happening?
Yeah, football is always risky when you're also sitting back, and you also sometimes concede so many goals, So, yeah, this is just our play, our plan. So, yeah, we gotta just stick it together in a difficult time. So also in a good time. So, yeah, today was very, very painful. I know also the players, also the fans, and also the club. But as I said before, because it's coming game so quickly, so we gotta move together, give a nice feedback from each other, and also from the coaching staff. So, and you gotta just bounce back stronger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, if that's a snapshot of the dressing room, it's not going to be a very happy Christmas, is it, at the Spurs training ground? I suppose we've seen the extreme emotions from beating Man City 4-0, and then that there today.
Yeah, it's really funny because sometimes you see a side get beat 6, and as a player you go, I'm embarrassed and all that. But we're not sitting there really picking holes in Tottenham. We're saying how good Liverpool were today. Do you know what I mean? You'll go home and you'll feel the pain of the 6. As he said, it's painful because no player wants to get beat 6. But
we could, couldn't we? We could pick holes in Spurs.
You could pick. What I'm saying is, it weren't one of those situations.
I think you have a little goal on that third goal.
Yeah. what I'm saying is, when you go, that was really embarrassing. It was this, that, and the other. Well, I just thought Liverpool were that good. And so, as a Spurs player, yes, you don't want to get beat. No player wants to get beat 6, but you're not. I'm not sitting there going, "It is." I just thought Liverpool was so good, so.
Has he got a job to pick them up, Jamie, over Christmas?
Yeah, well, you're getting chinned like that. Of course you have, but they've got to. It's a matter of fact. You just have to get up as quick as you can. You've got big games coming up. You're going to have to play Liverpool again. I don't think it'll be the same 11 that we've seen today. I think Liverpool will obviously change players, but yeah, it's not going to be easy for them, but that's your job.
More football debate to come.
Well, Arnie, you said before the match, might be a crazy one. It was. Did you like almost everything you saw?
Yeah, almost, indeed. First 50-55 minutes is, I think, what you want, except for the goal we conceded, because if you have so much dominance and you might have gone in at halftime with a 2-1 lead, that would probably not have done justice to the quality we brought today. Then 3-1 up, and it ended up being 5-1. Yeah, and then I think we all saw that we thought it was enough, and therefore Tottenham has far too much quality. If you're not every second of the game on top of them, they are able to create and score.
I know in your preparations, because you said beforehand, you've watched a lot of their games against the best sides and the biggest clubs, so you'll know no one else has done that to them. How did you do it?
Yeah, I think I said similar things before the game, that in the games they've lost here against the bigger teams, that they were always very close to a result and maybe deserved something more than they got. I think today it was clear that we deserved to win. So that was a very good performance for a large part of the game, except for the 15 to 20 minutes where we thought we didn't have to run anymore, and then in that period of time we conceded 2.
Yeah, has that really annoyed you? Has it taken the gloss off, that last bit?
A bit. It's also a good warning for us to understand. Very, very difficult for every team to play against us. But that is our strength. It's not only the quality, and that maybe is useful this 15 minutes, because the same players with the same quality, they don't run the same anymore, and then we can concede 2. But you can say this so many times. Unfortunately, it didn't hurt us today, but in other moments it could.
So, I mean, you're a big fan of Ange Postecoglou and what they do, but in terms of your plan beforehand and how it was then executed, where were the opportunities for you today? Where was the space?
I think against every team there is an opportunity, because if they press 9 and 10, you have 3v2 in midfield. If they go 7, 9, 11, you have to bring maybe a defender in the midfield to have an overload. If they go man for man, which they did with the third goal, then maybe if you win a duel, there's only one player necessary to outplay someone, and you have an extra man. So it doesn't matter which team you face, there's always an opportunity, but there's always a threat as well. And I think that's also what you saw today, because they have a lot of quality players. They have a very good idea about football. If you give them a bit of space, they can hurt you so much. And I'm not a fan in that sense of the word of Ainge, but I like his playing style. I like what he does, and I'm not one of the guys or one of the people that think he deserves criticism for what he does, because he's at a club where normally every club has a chance to win something, but they don't win that much in the last 15 to 20 years here. But what he does do is always enjoying the fans. Maybe not today, but in general he does.
I know these questions about Mo Salah and Trent, Virgil as well, always sound a bit loaded, but particularly with the first two, like how good were they today? How good have they been throughout your time? And we are talking about World 11 players here, aren't we?
Yeah, we do. Otherwise, you don't play for Liverpool. So they should be one of the best players in the world, or close to that. Otherwise, you don't play for such a big club. So that's clear. They were outstanding today, especially if you look at most numbers: 2 goals, 2 assists. It wasn't that every other ball he touched was as brilliant as the 2 goals and the 2 assists, but he played a very good game if you come up with 2 goals, 2 assists. And with Trent, the focus might again be on the great cross he gave, and with the first goal and some other moments. But I think playing against Son is not always easy, because he's a threat, and he defended him for almost the whole game very, very, very well. Since you first walked in, has he really upped that part of his game, Trent? Yeah, I think he increased a bit, but there are still moments where I think he can do better. So I said it, I think, before the game. Newcastle, half hour he came in. City, he was outstanding. Fulham was okay, but for his standards, not top. But today he was again of the level that he played against City and Newcastle. So top at Christmas, how significant is that? You're getting towards that halfway point where you said it makes a bit more sense to look at the league table. Yeah, it shows you that we have a very good team, of course. Still three games to go for us, we're halfway. But if you can go here and play the game we did, then we are definitely a hard team and a difficult team to beat, and that's what we've shown till now. But yeah, this game also showed that you can lose your momentum in 10 to 15 minutes, let alone if you go for maybe 2 or 3 games with that intensity that we had in that 10 to 15 minutes. So if it was easy to win the league, everybody would do it, and it isn't, because you have to be on top of your game every second that you play in the Premier League, and a long way to go. Thanks, Arne. Enjoy your Christmas. Thank you. You too.
When to play out, that's got to be down to some of the players' responsibilities and leadership. I agree with you, but ultimately he sets the tone, doesn't he? He sets the tone for the way they play, and I think it's not about offensively. They're great to watch, but defensively in certain games, it's not every game. Sometimes they're okay because they've got the ball a lot and their confidence is up, but I mean, against good teams, they're going to get ripped apart, because we've all played the game. We know if you want to go man for man, you have to have super fit players who can run all day and be concentrated for 90 minutes and play weekend, midweek. It's nearly impossible.
Yeah. Matt, thank you very much indeed. Great to see you.
Cheers, chaps. Stay warm in that studio, won't you?
Well, and it's another breathless one. How did you see it?
Yeah, look, obviously, painful one for us. Credit to Liverpool, they were too strong for us today, and we kind of looked a little bit, sort of running on empty in terms of our energy levels, which is quite understandable with the situation we're in, and just met an opponent too strong on the day.
Yeah, I mean, most games, even when you've lost, you've been somewhere between competitive and even dominant, but did that feel like something a little bit different today?
Yeah, to a certain extent. Like I said, they're a good side, and they're in a good moment, and we're backed up from Thursday night with the same team, so I think that tells you a fair bit. Yeah, I mean, and you mentioned energy levels in your first answer. Without 10 first-team players today, you played on Thursday, they played on Wednesday, they were also able, I think, to rotate 8. So did you feel like that physical side, personnel side, played a big part today? Played a part for sure, but that doesn't take away from the fact they're a very good football team. So, we still, that aside, they're still a tough team to overcome. And, for us, it was just a bridge too far today in terms of what we were trying to do.
So, given all that context, still, what did you make of the performance? Were there bits you wanted better?
As I said, the lads tried as hard as they could. They just met an opponent who was a little bit too sharp today and a little bit too strong. So we had to sort of try and hang in there as best we could. We did different spells, but they seemed to get a goal, which kind of always put them sort of too far ahead of us.
There's obviously this week been a bit of a focus on the entertainment side. I know you're here to win, but would you still rather lose like that, doing your thing, playing your football, than, I don't know, sitting 2 banks of 4 and lose 2 or 3-0?
No, I don't like losing. No, but any way you lose, I don't like losing. So it doesn't. Like I said during the week, it's we want to be an attacking team, aggressive team, but we want to win. So
from an attacking aspect, then, I mean, you scored 3 goals, but what more could you have done?
Yeah, not a great deal. I mean, like I said, they're a good side. Not many teams will score 3 against them, and it's a couple of other opportunities. But just overall, I just think, like I said, they're in a great moment. They're flying. They're really settled. You just have to look at the players they're bringing on to finish off a game of football, and we're not at that level yet.
Yeah, it feels like it might be fuel for those who say, hey, you need to tweak it. You need a plan B, or for you, is it not about that today?
I don't know, mate. I really, I don't know how to answer that question, really. I mean, I think I've explained clearly what I thought happened today, and, I don't know what plan Bs or plan Cs. I really don't know how to answer that. I really don't. I'm lost for words. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, bud.
Yeah, it was that kind of day for Ange Postecoglou. Has he a point about the energy levels? Did that play a part today with the same team again for Spurs?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a high energy game. You play against Liverpool, you're gonna have to sort of like put in those sort of like outputs, but at the same time, you still be you can't use that as an excuse. You still don't want to concede 6 goals at home. Of course, I mean, Liverpool currently they're the best team in the league. And, we spoke about the 4 players that have got, they're always going to cause you problems, but to concede 6 goals like that, it's losing games and getting beat. You get beat like that at home, it's of course, it's disappointing. And you can see from his body language, it's almost lost for words, to be honest, because what do you say to the players? But I just don't think you can use that as an excuse. If anything, if you are tired going into games, then you sort of like approach it in a different way. Obviously when Conte was there, people spoke about, obviously, out of possession, it was sort of like boring, but it was hard to break down. Going forward, you've got good players. Tottenham are always going to create chances. And even a question about plan B and being able to adapt, it doesn't like it, but you're going to have to at some stage, because if you continue playing this way and conceding this amount of goals, then you're just going to go backwards, in my opinion.
And if you were a current player in that, you were talking to Murph there about, grabbing responsibility or whatever, but they're obviously coached and told to play in a certain way. Defeats like today, would that damage belief in the way that you are playing?
Of course, but I feel like players have to take responsibility as well. I think at times where, obviously I wasn't a defender, but I feel like at times where, especially players that I played with, if I was a defender or a fullback, there'd be times where someone next to me would say, no, you're standing here for 10 minutes. We've just equalised, it's 2-1. Ask referee, it's just game management. Speak to referee, how long's left? Okay, we get through to half time, 2-1. Second half, game on. We get the second goal.
Why do you think that isn't happening in this current side?
I don't know. But Murph said it there, is there players there that are going to sort of like take that responsibility? Sometimes it's too literal. The manager says we have to do this, so we do this. But the way Tottenham play, they've got freedom. You can see that they've got freedom to play, because in the final third, they're one of the best teams to watch. We've said that. That people don't want to talk about. That's important, just as important. It's just there's no structure, and it's hard to watch it, because every time Liverpool went forward, it seems like they're going to score. They could have scored 9 goals.
It's not just with Tottenham. You don't have players who takes responsibility. It's very much the way football is moving. You don't have. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about when I played that it was better, but there were people in the teams that I played in that would take responsibility. A lot of them, most of them actually, would say, hey, this is not working, so we're going to do this or we're going to do that. Nowadays, you play in systems and with
with strict principles of what we do and what we don't do. For instance, we go back to Thursday night, how they conceded 2 goals against Manchester United by the goalkeeper actually giving the ball away inside their 18-yard box. Now, this game today started, you think, well, okay, they learned from that. They're not going to do that. But the game today started with Forster again giving the ball to Mo Salah, who could have scored within, was it 3 minutes? Yeah. Same thing. So you play in principle, and you do. But when you do that, when you tell your players that that is the way you have to do, you also take away some of that, some of the responsibility that the players should have. So you don't give them that complete freedom to actually change things on the pitch. They might have felt that this needs to be changed or this needs to be sorted out, but it goes against the way that we play our football. And a lot of managers today are being brought in because they have a certain philosophy, and they have to apply that to the team. We've seen with Russell Martin at Southampton, he was brought in with the system that he wanted to play. The players weren't there to play that system. They didn't have the quality, and eventually he ended up losing his job last week because they simply conceded far too many goals and lost too many games because of that. So it's easy to talk about players should take responsibility, but if they're not allowed to take responsibility, it's very difficult to sort of evolve that thought.
Yeah, I agree with Peter. And to elaborate on that, you know, football is going a little bit like life, like business, like anything. It's numbers driven, it's data driven. You know, 10, 15, 20 years ago, you had people making decisions on the pitch. That's why you required leadership qualities on the pitch. Nowadays, leadership qualities, they're important, but they're probably not as essential as they used to be, because, as Peter's just alluded to, people have got instruction. The leadership's coming from all week saying, right, when the ball's here, you're there, you're doing this, you're doing that. And everybody, it's robotic nowadays. Football is becoming robotic. There's less initiative on a football pitch, less mavericks on a football pitch than there used to be. Even the quality players, if they don't have the running stats that back it up, then, you know, they're out the team. So football is going like that, whether we like it or not. It's really intriguing in certain ways to listen to the numbers and to understand certain scenarios. And, you know, and you ask a question of a coach and you say, why did you do this? He said, well, because if we put the ball in that situation, 64% of the time we do this, and if we do it in this, it's only 52. So we're going to do it that way because the numbers of generations of football show that's more successful. And you just like, oh, right, okay. It's numbers driven. It's crazy. The world is getting crazy.
But Mo, it starts from the academies.
But it does.
I think you've got to be careful of academies, because at times I feel like the players are overcoached. It's different when you go to Italy and Spain. There's freedom with the coaches, freedom with the players. You have to go and express yourself. So you're good players. That's why you're here. A lot of players can't do extras, so they'll make a mistake on a weekend. For instance, you know, you talk about goalkeepers. You know, you make a mistake when you think, okay, then I'm going to stay out. You take responsibility. So I'm going to stay out for extra 20 minutes and, I don't know, maybe pass it into a mini goal. That's what I need to improve on. Now, you can't do that because everything's data-driven. You've done too much today. Or centre forward, that's missed chances. I want to do 20 minutes after training. Now, you can't do that because it's data-driven. You're in the red zone. So the game's completely different. Like, I could never imagine when I was playing that, you know, someone at the sports science team would say to me, oh, you can't do that because, you know, you've done enough, you're in the red zone. But I need to practice. Come Saturday, if I miss this chance, I can't stand in front of the fans and be like, oh, I couldn't do the extra 20 minutes because I'm in a red zone. Like, it's completely different.
In terms of whatever zone they were in on the pitch today, is it as simple as Ange Postecoglou saying we were up against a much better opponent, or did Tottenham just not help themselves at times as well?
It's fine saying that. That is true. That's factual, really. They're against a better opposition.
But they couldn't keep the ball at times, could they?
Well, they couldn't because they're against a better opposition. And, you know, I mean, we see a lot of the time here, Steve, we've just got a group of clips together, the amount of times they give the ball away in dangerous areas, or they give the ball away and allow breaks. That was early in the game, even when they're attacking. Look how many bodies they've got forward. They lose one ball and they've got 5 or 6 players in front of the ball. Now, to be fair to them, they do run back, but they're also all over the place, as Jermaine alluded to. They don't know where they're going. A lot of the time, they get numbers back. I mean, even here, they're 5 against 4, but it's the timing of the run. You know, they have numbers to to defend him a lot better than they do. But they just don't. Look at this. There's only 4 Liverpool players. They've got 7 players there in shot, plus a goalkeeper. That's 8. Yet they still can't defend it. They just don't know what they're doing in certain scenarios. It's quite worrying, and I guess that it's not things that he works on. When you look at the team, you think, oh, Tottenham must only work when they've got the ball, and where people go when they've got the ball. And it's all right going into dangerous positions, but then if you lose the ball, and we talk about fullbacks being almost up there with the striker, almost inside forwards, which is great when you've got the ball. You know, you're outnumbering people and overloading, as they like to use now. That's all great, but what if you lose the ball? And then all of a sudden you're 5 against 3 at the back or 5 against 2. And that happens all the time. We watched it all the time tonight. So it's great looking at the positives, but you've got to balance it out with the negatives as well. And when you're playing a team like Liverpool, go toe-to-toe at your peril. You're not good enough to. You've played a game, you know, you've got 24 hours less rest and recovery. You're playing the same team, whereas Liverpool are chopping and changing and freshening it up. You're playing against better players with more technical and tactical nous, and you go gung-ho and you get your backside smacked like you probably deserve to, because you're not really showing you are showing the opposition respect, but you're not really. You just will play our game and that's that. Well, I'm bigger and better in life, and that's what they came up against today.
It's frustrating, of course, and you watch it, especially when you watch the clips there.